G'day fellas, it's a bit hot today, it's 42 degrees, so I thought I'd just fuck around the shed. I'm not doing anything too strenuous, but I was making a hanger to hang up a chart in my shed, and I'm just making a wire bracket, and I just thought, well, fuck it. As you can see, I've got my tape measure out and my texter, and what I've done here is I've cut a bit of wire. Can you see this? About 400 long, and down in there, can you see there's a texter mark there? I'll show you when I get out. Anyway, I've just put the centre line is there, and 50 mil each way is 100, and I'll show you. It'll make sense when I go along. But I've just see how that is in there, and it's a little bit crooked, but it's bent at 90 degrees or close enough to it. And I'll show you later, and it'll make sense. Yeah, just so you can see I've done this first bend 90 degrees. See, that's the centre. That's another 50, so it's 50 to there and 50 to there. Now, see how I've got this on an angle, and I've also got the bolt on a slight angle. Reason being is I've got to bend this around to 90 degrees, and it's got to come on top. Or if I was doing 180, which I'll do later, it's going to come on top of the vise. So just so everything's true, it doesn't really matter. It's a freaking hanger. That's what I'm doing. Okay, now I've got us to this point. So you can see the job there. Now this is just ordinary 3.2 fencing wire, which is ubiquitous in Australia. It's annealed wire. We're on a bit of a farm here on a few acres. And, you know, if you haven't got a bit of 1/8-inch galvanised fencing wire laying around, you're not living on the land, because this has fixed tractors, cars, houses, roofs, fixes everything. 1/8 of an inch annealed fencing wire. And you can leave it out in the rain. It'll last forever in the shed. I know you don't know what it is yet, but at the end of this video, you'll know what it is, and it'll make sense. Okay, so you can see the setup I've got here. So I've got the job in the vise like that. So you can see that's on a bit of an angle, but so is that, and so is that. And my usual method for bending sheet metal and the like is just put this in, and with this bar, just bend it around. Now this one is going to be a 90-degree bend, and that's how I do it. Now those astute viewers who will have seen the verniers and thought on a rough job like this it doesn't matter, there is one dimension that is a bit important. So as you can see here, see how I've put a texter mark there? That is I suppose it's a critical dimension, and you'll see why in a minute. But everything else is pretty... Okay, so here's the finished product. What can you see? It's a hanger. You can see it's a fairly specific shape, and that important dimension at the top there. So this is going to... That looks half reasonable for something you knocked up in the shed. And I'll take my vernier back down. I'll go to the other shed and tell you what it's all about. Okay, so I'm just heading into the other shed. So you can see me little bit of wire, which I'm calling a picture hanger. So let's go in. Oh, amongst all my junk, and head to my old lathe, because this is where I'm going to use it. I'm real happy with this lathe. It's an oldie, but it's a Taiwanese one. So what date is that? August 1980. But I'm real happy with this lathe. And can you see this garage that I've got? These are called Z purlins. You can see this shape here. Where am I? See this shape that goes up? Well, actually, there's a lip here, and there's a lip. Then it goes up. Then there's a horizontal surface. Then it goes up, and it's another lead. So it's like a Z. It's called a Z purlin. Most garages that are built in Australia have a top hat purlin, which I might show you later. But they're not really structural. They've got a bit in tensile, but nothing elsewhere. These are actually structural. This is actually a very good shed. Anyway, because there's a radius up the top here and a return, so there's a surface up there that's parallel with this one. If I put this up now, it's at the limit of my capacity. All right, so there you go. See how secure this is? It that's not going anywhere. That is very secure. So what am I going to hang up there? Actually, I've got a decimal chart. I might stick you over here. Can you see there? Who the fuck knows on the morons? Really? I mean, I never know what I'm doing. Oh, actually, this chart, it was once a calendar. And if you look closely, there's a row of staples along here. I'm not sure if you can see it. So this was a cardboard calendar by a company called Bearing Service Company of Australia. And the phone number is just 4 digits. So I'm guessing it's about 1951 or 52. And see, there's 2 holes up here that would have been hung on a piece of red ribbon. And there would be 12 pieces of paper stapled up here. Can you see the staples here? That would have said January, February, March, and you would have used it as a calendar for 12 months. And then after 12 months, you've got this great chart, which I'll show you in a minute. But I just thought, because it was from 1951, this is the best chart that I found. And then I bought it off a guy who owned an antique shop, and he had it professionally framed. It's actually framed very well, which I would have been happy if it wasn't framed. But if we put this up here, I think it needs to go that way, a puff beans, does it? Is that straight? I can't see. It's probably straight enough for the purposes of looking. Let's see. I don't know what you could see back then. I reckon that looks pretty cool. But if you look at it, as the camera tries to focus, oh, it doesn't want to focus, does it? You'll have to trust me. Why doesn't it want to focus? Maybe that's better. Yeah. So you can see it's got 16ths, it's got 10, every 10th thou, it's got a metric equivalent, and every fractional inch, it's got an exact, and every decimal to 2 decimal places, it's got a fraction. So it's actually a very good chart. I mean, they don't make them like this anymore. I don't fucking know why, but that's going to be at the end of my lathe, and that's going to get used, and that's why I made it. So, hooroo. And just for anyone that's interested, a top hat purlin. This shed here, can you see this shape here? There's actually a slight angle in here, so that dimension at the bottom is slightly smaller than the dimension on the outside, but it's really just for mounting the cladding. As you can see here, we call it a top hat cross-sectional, because the cross-sectional area looks like a top hat, but it's really just for mounting the cladding. It doesn't really have much guts to it. So that's what a top hat purlin is.